How'd the guys look today?
We're good. Excited, flew around, had good practice.
Jeff, you talked about how impactful David Amador's return was for this offense. What does it do for Owen McCown specifically to have him back out on the field?
Oh, well, those guys get so many reps together in the spring and, fall camp, summer, just tons of time in there with those older guys that have played with Owen quite a bit. And they just kind of pick up right where they left off. There's just a lot of nuances of knowing when to throw the ball and where the guy's coming out of his break and the speed of the guy and all that kind of stuff. And he gives a lot of confidence to the whole room just because David's been a winner his entire life. He has a lot of ways he makes plays other than just catching the ball.
How's David feeling?
He's good. I'd say he was probably 80% in the game, but, I think he's gotten better and better each week.
It's been interesting watching Owen this year. A lot of the little things he does. He fist bumps a lot of his guys between series, and I saw after the game he shook hands with the ref as soon as he did the final kneel down. Is there anything that stands out about how a young quarterback handles those little situations?
Well, that's just what you see when he's winning. Not to mention he does the exact same thing when he's losing. Like, I'll never forget after the Rice game, which, arguably at that point was one of the toughest losses in our careers here. And I watched him take every player off the field and get them all in the locker room. And then after the Tulsa game, I watched him do the exact same thing when everybody's literally crumbling. And he just has something inside his core where he's built to lead. He's not typical. He's not normal. And that's what leaders are. And he's got a gift of that.
You've talked pretty openly lately about having him here for the long haul, given your connection to him and the family. Does that change how you approach his development, kind of knowing that security is in place?
It shouldn't at all. That's the way you would hope you coach every child. You want every child to get your best every day. And you just got to understand this is a new business. It's a one-semester business. Anytime you have a player that you know well enough that tells you he's going to ride it out with you, it does give you a peace of mind, but it shouldn't change the way you coach any player. Those are all still someone's children. And we're going to coach them all like we're going to coach them all 5 years, whether it's one semester or not.
I just wasn't sure if you could have more like of a long-term focus rather than needing to get some immediate results to keep the people happy.
Yeah, there's just there's no quick pill you can take. If there was, everybody'd take it. It takes time. People think coaches are frustrated with this new system because we're just spoiled babies and we just want it our way. No, we know how long it takes to get great. It takes time. And you can't rush the process. You just can't rush it. It just takes time. And I know media people don't like it, fans don't like it, boosters don't like it, coaches don't like it either. We wish we could just push a button too. We've just done it long enough to know it just takes a lot of time.
Jeff, what do you have to watch out with this North Texas offense this week? What are some of the things they do well?
It's unbelievable if you really study the stats. I mean, I'm going to mess up on some of this stuff. I know Greg will correct me. But they had the most touchdowns in the country in one-play drives. I think they had 6 drives of one play. That's pretty remarkable. I think they've got the most touchdowns in under 2 minutes. I think that's like 19 possibly. I think they had the most touchdowns under 1 minute drives. Like that's 13 in their 51 scoring possessions. It's pretty phenomenal how fast they do it, how many yards per game they throw. I think they're 3rd in the country in points, 3rd in the country in passing yards. It's really crazy. And that's after the Army game, where Army did to them what they did to us. They kept the ball 42 minutes. I think Chandler had the ball 3 plays in the 3rd quarter. And I might be off on some of this stats. I got a lot of stuff going on in this noodle brain of mine. But I just know how frustrating that is. So if those stats are that, they've already played Army, it really lets you know how explosive and quick they are.
What's your message to your defense then this week? They're gonna have some yards and make some plays, it sounds like, but how do you guys persevere through that?
They're one of the best teams in the country at throwing it, and we're one of the worst teams in the country defending it. So it looks like a real good matchup for North Texas right now.
Do you guys have to do anything different, even on offense, to account for that tempo, that you might be back out there, less time between series or anything like that?
I think we're like number 18 in the country in time possession, so we do our fair share of taking a long time to score. So we'll just keep doing what we do. Our red zone efficiency at times has been frustrating, but we have been out there. Knock on wood, but we've done a good job of that this season. But no, we won't be Army in the game.
I think we might be talking to Danye today. What has stood out about the way he's handled his last season, his approach, and what he's produced on the field?
Just his mindset. And he really, was distraught and thinking that he didn't want to be remembered a certain way, right? And I've told him over and over and over again, none of us can do anything in our lives about the current situation you're in actually. Whatever that is, for you, for me, for him, wherever you currently are. You can't change that in that moment, but you can change the way you view yourself in that moment. It's the only hope you have of getting out of that current situation is the way you view your current self. So he's really bought into that. He's doing his best to not view himself as a 4-5 football player, because he's not a 4-5 football player.
How have you guys approached the conversation around penalties with him in particular? I know he's a very emotional player, and it's popped up the last couple games.
No, the ones that we think are bad calls, we let him know that they're bad calls, and the ones that we think are good calls, he's got to adjust.
Jeff, I saw there was a lot of positive reaction to the high school uniform colors that the teams are going to wear, the players are going to wear, walking into the dome. Just what went around doing that decision?
I'm a Texas high school football coach, right? I'm very proud of that. And, I hate it when college guys play on Friday nights. It's almost sacrilegious in my opinion. And our fans are going to be at Alamo Heights, and they're probably going to be at Bernie, and, they're going to be at Smithson Valley. I get it. It's just a way for us to give a shout out back to the high school coaches that we're sorry. And our players are going to wear their colors, Friday walking up. Just as another way to let my Texas high school coaches buddies know we're not for it. We just got to do what we're told to do. And I understand that we're on national TV. It's good for the brand. It's good for UTSA. President Amy has more than once stated we're the front porch of the university. And this is a great opportunity for us to show a great facility in the Alamo Dome, a great band in Sosa, our Palm, our cheer. And we have a style of football that's still attractive. I think we're 27-3 in home games in 5 years, and that's pretty remarkable. Our November record's pretty good as well. So I'm sure all that'll get showcased on national TV, which is good for the university and the city. You're
gonna squeeze into your Gilmer Letterman jacket, or what
there's no chance that Letterman jacket would fit. No chance. I was 197 back in the day, JJ. I'm probably closer to 297 right now.
Jeff, how was your bye week?
We got through practice on Wednesday, jumped on the old Southwest Airlines and flew to New Orleans and got to be there for the birth of Mickey Jacob Traylor, which that was incredible. And, watched the video in the hotel, worked, but at the same time, whenever he was up, I tried to be there with him, flew back Saturday, and obviously watched the North Texas game, on TV, and got to work Sunday. So it was good to be with Jordan and Sierra and my kids. Jake couldn't make it, but we got JC in there, so it was a good little 2 days, away, or 3 days, whatever that was, and got to be with Mickey.
When you become a grandfather, it's almost like a redo. So everything that you learn from being a parent, now you get to go ahead and impose that wisdom now as being a grandparent. What would be the one thing that it was just like, now this is going to be so great because now I can do this as a grandfather that I wish I would have been able to do as a parent?
Jack, it's a really great point. I can just remember, my father passed away a couple of years ago right before the bowl game. And I just remember my father, who was spare the rod, spoil the child. I was raised on a farm. I told you all that stuff a million times. And he used to whip Kurt and Andy and I like to death, it seemed like. And then when he became a grandfather, if I raised my voice at Jordan or Jake or JC, he just was like the Papa Bear defending the children. I'm like, where was this guy when I was raised? And he's like, y'all have books to read. We didn't have books to read. We didn't know we were like destroying y'all with all of our anger. And I'm like, what is this? So I hope I've got some patience that my father had with his grandkids. I have a feeling I'm going to be a lot slower to anger at Mickey as I did to Jordan, Jake, and JC.
How hard was it to come back here, not wanting to leave when you got the first chance to hold him?
It's the first time I've ever really had a peace of mind during a football season. And as soon as I laid my eyes to sleep Sunday night, I woke up at 1 a.m. in a full sweat. North Texas on my mind again, and you don't sleep again. And it is nice to know that whenever that day is, I decide, or y'all decide to send me to the other side, that it's going to be okay.
Appreciate it, Jeff.
Thank y'all.